Yeah, you saw the title. Kamala Harris's healthcare positions suck. They are the worst idea ever. Well, it might be. There could be worse. Anyway, we're going to dive to that in a second. But first, welcome to A Fresh Perspective with Jeff Charles. With me, Jeff Charles, where we prefer truth over narrative and principles over politics. Now, before I start, you already know what I'm going to say. You got to like this, you got to share this, and you got to subscribe. That way, you'll be notified whenever I upload a new episode. Also, check out my Substack. It's called Chasing Liberty. You can access that at libertychasers.com. Become a subscriber, become a paid subscriber, and support my work. I highly appreciate it. That keeps me going, and you guys are wonderful. So without further ado, we're going to go in and kind of unpack some of her healthcare policies. Now, I understand that she has recently backed off of some of these. She did the old John Kerry flip flop thing. I might have dated myself by bringing up John Kerry, but she flip flopped. I'm still going to go with the ones that she ardently supported years ago because I don't believe her. I think she's lying. I think that her healthcare policies are just as commie as they were back then. She's trying to move towards the center, guys. Don't fall for it. She is lying to you. So, anyway, let's go. So we know that she supports Medicare for all, especially Bernie Sanders' version. This is a policy position that Kamala Harris has strongly supported, and it basically aims for a complete government takeover of health insurance, pushing the United States closer to a single payer system. Now, the government, for all intents and purposes, runs our healthcare system. We already have government healthcare in this country, but we at least we have the illusion that it's a free market that's directing our healthcare in America. But this would push us closer to a more socialist system. If this doesn't set off alarm bells, I don't know what will. This plan would eliminate private insurance and force, force everyone into new government run healthcare plans. Doesn't that sound wonderful? I mean, we always hear the horror stories of how Canada's healthcare system works and in other countries as well. And in a country like America, with the size of our population, with our makeup, that ain't going to work. Usually, when the government takes something over, it messes it up completely. In 2019, Harris co sponsored Senator Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All bill. The bill would have, again, outlawed private insurance entirely, which means that your choices in healthcare providers would be wiped out and replaced by a one size fits all government solution. Now, I'm not saying that the way we have it right now is great. I mean, with private health insurance companies, but really much of the problem with those companies is that they are colluding with who? Uncle Sam. They're in bed with Uncle Sam to regulate healthcare. So it's not really a private free market. Here's the next thing: healthcare for illegal immigrants. So during her unsuccessful campaign for president in 2019, she agreed, Kamala Harris did, that the United States should extend insurance to illegal immigrants. Now, first off, you shouldn't be robbing people with under the threat of force to pay for anybody else's health care. But you definitely also shouldn't be doing it for illegal immigrants as well. Let's not forget that the Biden administration has already finalized a rule that allows people who arrive in the country in violation of the laws as children to claim subsidies through Obamacare's exchanges. This was a move that was actually forbidden by Obamacare itself. Now, I'm not talking about immigration policy here. Some people are strict closed borders, some people are more open borders. I don't really care about that right now. What I do care about for the purposes of this video is that you shouldn't be forcing other people to pay for it, especially when people are suffering with inflation, having even more money taken out of their pocket. What Kamala Harris and Joe Biden want to do would just jack that up even more. Like, they tell you that they're just going to raise taxes on the wealthy. That's a lie. They're going to raise them on all of us. And the idea is that in order to drag us closer to this single payer system that Bernie Sanders wants, AOC, all the far left folks, that's just going to place more of a burden on the rest of us who are working our asses off to be able to afford our lifestyles. And a lot of us are struggling with the economy, inflation, getting groceries, gas, all that stuff. So Harris, even during the 2019 presidential campaign, she had her own plan called Kamala Care. I'm telling you, that's coming back, especially if she gets elected. So it would cover all medically necessary services, including emergency room visits, doctor visits, vision, dental, hearing aids, mental health services, substance use disorder treatment, blah 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 blah. The list goes on and on. Now I will say that under Kamala Care, it wouldn't ban outright private insurance, at least not initially. That would be the end goal, right? But private insurance companies would have to adhere to strict Medicare requirements on costs and benefits. Sounds good on paper, right? Maybe. But the cost, though, the cost. And it's not going to be these people who pass these laws that are going to be paying that cost. It's going to be you. It's going to be me. So, according to a 2022 testimony from Charles Blehaus, who is a scholar at George Mason University, Medicare for all would cost between 32.6 trillion and 38.8 trillion between 2022 and 2031. There is no way that that's not going to require massive tax hikes, and not just on corporations, not just on the rich, on all of us. Even in these other countries that have single payer healthcare, they're getting tons of money taken out of their paychecks that they could be using to make their own healthcare decisions, which I'm going to get to in a second. Taxing the rich won't spare the little guy. Consumers would feel this impact in higher prices across the board. If you put more taxes on corporations, they're going to jack your prices. So you are going to pay for it, not these corporations. And inflation is already a thing. We don't need any more of this. So here's the thing. Besides being incredibly expensive, government dominated healthcare systems in other countries deliver shoddy care. It's horrible. Let's take a look at the United States, the United Kingdom. England's National Health Service, where 7.6 million people are currently on waiting lists just to get some care. In Canada, patients wait on average 27 freaking weeks to receive specialty treatment after seeing a primary care doctor. So this is where they want to take us, guys. Again, because it's not going to affect them. It's not going to affect people like them. They can afford this stuff easily, and they'll probably still have other ways that they can get healthcare off the books, or however you want to word that. The thing is, the solution isn't to give the government more control. It already has more than enough. It already regulates health insurance companies in a way that benefits the bigger health insurance companies by driving down competition. I can go into all that. I've done videos on that. Check out my video on certificate of need laws at the state and federal level that have already eliminated competition and basically funneled power into a small group of companies and a small group of people who get to make our healthcare decisions for us. The key isn't to give these people more power over how we get our healthcare. It's to give us more control by getting the government out of it as much as possible, really completely. If I have it my way, they should be out of it. They want to move us more towards a more government dominated system. And if you already see the way how our healthcare system is right now, like I said in another video, we're actually per capita, on average, yearly, paying almost double as Americans than what other developed nations pay. So it's already going to get worse. Now you've heard me mention health savings accounts. That's just one solution because it gives us more control over what we're doing. We have money that gets deposited into these accounts that are only used for healthcare purposes. A step in the right direction in that vein would be the Access Act, which you've heard me bring up quite a bit. On the exchange, basically, instead of doing the cost sharing BS, that money would be put into health savings accounts. So every individual can choose how that is spent. They can use that to pay for out of pocket costs without having to go through insurance all the time. It makes it easier for us to choose instead of having to deal with this one size fits all solution that Black Hillary and the gang want to place on all of us. Yeah, I called her Black Hillary. That's what I call her, just in case you don't know, because she's basically a black version of Hillary Clinton. But I digress. The thing is, when we have more control over our healthcare, we can make better decisions. They can be more affordable. We have more bargaining power. When we have more control over our healthcare decisions, we have the power, not the government, not the major insurance corporations, not the pharmaceutical companies, not all of the other corrupt entities that are involved in this whole thing. Health savings accounts are a step in the right directions, but I think that there are also more solutions out there as well. As a matter of fact, now that I'm closing out, if you know of any other policy that gets the government further out of healthcare and gets us more in control of it, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. How is this affecting you? Because I'm telling you, this race is important. Now, I don't really expect Donald Trump to do much about it, but at least he's not pushing for single payer healthcare. I wish that they were about eliminating Obamacare and allowing the markets to be more free, but Republicans aren't really about that life, right? We saw that a long time ago when they had control of the White House and both chambers of Congress. You know, that thumbs down. Thank you, John McCain. Anyway, I'm kind of babbling now, but I'm a little frustrated. But here's the thing: we got to start getting on our lawmakers more often. They need to hear from us. They're not going to do what we want if they know that we're going to support them anyway. Stop letting them think that. Stop letting them get away with this stuff. We need more control over the healthcare. We need more control over a lot of aspects of our lives, healthcare being one of the most important, because our health is our responsibility, and no government entity in collusion with major corporations should be empowered to make those decisions for us. All right. Well, let me know what you think. Hit me up in the comments below. Until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.